why everything is a core nowadays. Google, my name is Anastasiia and welcome to my YouTube channel. I was heading for a bit of a cottagecore vibe here, and that is because this, well, partially is the topic of today's video. Today we are going to be talking about cores, or they also sometimes are called aesthetics, but I feel like they're kind of different, so we will be heading more toward the core part of the conversation. Anyway, if you haven't been living under a rock during the past, I don't know what, 3 to 4 years, you could have noticed possibly that the word core in the combination with other words like cottagecore, academia core, Y2K core is coming to a surface more and more often. I'm sorry, there is a dog that lives on the next floor and I feel like he's playing. Anyway, as I was saying, you might have noted that it's basically impossible to have any kind of conversation that turns toward the modern social, cultural aspects of our society without using a word core. So why is that? I have already started partially answering this question in, well, my previous thesis, and that is because the core term is basically a social cultural aspect of a modern narrative, of a conversation we are leading, the world we are living, you know, all the jazz. So what I'm trying to say is that everything doesn't necessarily have to be a core. However, it can potentially be turned into one. So considering there is a certain amount of demand for this core classification, core term, for the usage of those cores, there inevitably will be an offer, which we are seeing in numerous amounts, not thanks to the social media. I have just checked yesterday, and I believe that the tag cottagecore has over 12 billion posts on the TikTok. Like, that's a pretty crazy number. But where is this demand coming from? What, so to say, fires this mass social desire for the cores? There are a number of different reasons, but the main one, and probably the biggest one, is a sense of belonging, of being a part of community. And not only that, but also a community that understands you, can support you, you know, all the good stuff. Think about it as American school groups we have been seeing represented a lot during like school drama of 2010s meets the idea of the global village in the same name book by Marshall McLuhan, which, by the way, if you haven't read it but you are interested in the social media culture, how it affects social lives of people, how it affects culture, highly recommended, great read. Or I don't know, think Tumblr groups going viral, which by the way is another reason, well, virality. What I mean is that within the social media culture, once again, that we are all being a part of, whether we want to or do not want to, within the realm of this culture, by using certain words and certain combination of words, that being said, cottagecore, dark academia core, coastal grandma core, you get the idea. By using those, you have more chances of going viral, which, in my humble opinion, is basically a synonym for an equally vague phrase of becoming popular. What I mean to say is that in 2000s, people had this idea of becoming popular, right? We can see it translated clearly all throughout books and movies of the period. And what confused me always the most about this idea is that, well, in my humble opinion, it's very much so wrong in the root of its motivation. You want to become popular for what? Do you have anything to share? Do you have anything to bring to the table? You want to be popular for what? What exactly do you want to achieve? Because once again, in my humble opinion, a correct motivation would be, I want to be a great artist. I want to become a popular artist. I want my art to be loved. Or I want to become a well-known politician. I want to lead a party, so on and so forth. Or a musician, you know, whatever. Like, a want to success in something is understandable, but just becoming a popular for the sake of being a popular, it doesn't sit right with me, at least. But I have digressed slightly. What I was saying is that going viral is basically a term for becoming popular, which one can often find within, you know, the realm of humans' desires, and especially if we are talking about certain social groups, like teenagers, for example, which, to add to that, is one of the most active social groups on the social media. To add to that, I feel like a very term core is kind of a new interpretation of a word trend, but not like in a very fashion-related, narrow meaning of the word, but in a more, you know, lifestyle wide kind of meaning. So what I'm saying that if we were to put it plainly, Trend is something that interested public and wide audiences during a certain amount of time. And it also says exactly what person should or shouldn't do in order to participate in this trend. And I mean, it can be social media trend, it can be fashion trend, even a cooking trend. But what I'm saying is that this description matches the description of core, like basically thought to thought. Because if we think about it, in the end of the day, a core is basically an idea that interests a wide audience, once again, because cores are very much so parallel to the term virality. It can't be a core if it's not viral. And it's same with the trend. It can't be trend if wide audiences are not interested in participating in it. I can be sitting here and saying that a shark core is a thing and it's a new go-to and la la la. However, if there is no people under this core, there will be no core. Same as trends. Last but not the least, I feel like cores is just basically another way of classifying things. And classifying things, putting label to things, naming things down to the very molecules of what they are put together from is not exactly a new idea for, I don't know, the humanity. After the industrial followed by the scientific revolutions, we are still living in a very much so afterthought period of the 20th century, when after the war science came to the head of our social existence, so much so that not many people remember that basically up to the beginning of the 20th century, I'm not even talking 19th and 18th century, the humanitarian disciplines such as philosophy or literature were more important and more privileged than the science disciplines like physics or astronomy or math or whatever. And because classification is something very much so tied with the concept of exact sciences, we are kind of adopting the same mindset and, well, using it to classify everything and anything. I also feel like an organization nerdness going viral is also a partake of this exact science afterthought journey we have all been experiencing. So that, ladies and gentlemen, has been my exposure talk and also kind of an attempt to provide you with a certain argument in terms of why everything is a core and why everything will probably stay this way until, you know, some different kind of classification is going to take the lead. I will appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel, leave me a like, and other than that, I'll see you in the next one. So bye-bye!